While bathing, the young mistress forgot to close the door. Suddenly, a renovation worker barged in. Startled, she quickly turned away, yet deep inside, an inexplicable flutter stirred. Time seemed to freeze, as though foreshadowing something to come. But the man made no further move. Just then, her sister's voice called from outside, forcing the young mistress to leave while the man stood there with disappointment written on his face. The next day, the worker returned to Annie, wanting to apologize for his recklessness. Seeing her chopping wood, he offered to guide her hands, showing her how to hold the axe properly. To her surprise, Annie didn't resist. On the contrary, admiration for the man began to grow. Soon, she managed to split a bundle of logs, preparing to carry them to the boiler room. Watching her frail figure struggle, Mike hurried to follow. With the fire roaring, the air quickly grew heavy with an unspoken tension. Mustering his courage, Mike gently brushed against her sleeve. Annie gazed at him with longing. But just as passion rose, Mike suddenly pulled away, leaving Annie standing there in disappointment. Flustered, she ran out of the room, her heart unable to calm. Fate, however, seemed intent on bringing them together again. When Annie went out to buy hardware supplies, Mike insisted on accompanying her. Their silence along the way said everything. Annie never intended to go to the store. Instead, they arrived at Mike's home. Alone, the two gave in to their desires. Later, returning home, Annie couldn't help but smile secretly, reliving the intoxicating moments. She began to long for the next encounter, believing this life could go on forever. But one day, her sister suddenly announced she would be leaving. Before she left, her words struck fear into Annie's heart. "I'm not blind, Simone, and neither is Eric." Shocked, Annie realized her secret had been discovered all along. Reflecting on her actions, she resolved to end things with Mike. Yet destiny refused to let her go so easily. Just as she tried to return to a normal life, sudden waves of nausea struck. Annie feared she might be pregnant. At the hospital, her suspicions were confirmed. The result hit like a cold verdict. Returning home, she sank into despair. But before she could recover, her neighbor, Mr. Wang, blocked her path. He had long coveted Annie, dreaming of a night with her. When she tried to resist, he revealed photos of her with Mike. Terrified her husband might find out, Annie was forced to give in to his demands. But Mr. Wang grew bolder. The next day, he sought her again, demanding more. Enraged, Annie shoved him away. But in the struggle, she accidentally struck the axe nearby. Tragedy unfolded, irreversible. At that moment, Mike rushed in, only to witness the scene. The police soon arrived and took Annie away, her fate now bound to the law. But days later, she was unexpectedly released. As she stepped out of the prison gates, she was stunned to see Mike being led away in handcuffs. To protect Annie, he had confessed, taking all the blame upon himself. Back home, Annie made a vow. She would wait for Mike until the day he returned. And as she awaited the birth of her child, she found new strength, a reason to live, and a hope to carry on.